Welcome to Inside the Artist's Mind with your hosts, Jay Harmon and Sally Bernard. Jay and Sally have always wondered what the inspiration is that drives others to create and express their art. Inside the Artist's Mind, we'll dive into the mind of the artist and teach us more than we ever knew. Enjoy the show!
Hi, and welcome to Inside the Artist's Mind, where we meet creative people and ask them what they do, and they tell us what they create, how they create it, and the whole procedure for what they're doing. And my name is Jay Harmon.
And I'm Sally Bernard. We always do that right.
And today our guest is Janet.
Hello.
And she's a host on the cafe.
Well, maybe she tell us a little bit more
So
about
that's what we want to
yes.
talk to her a little bit about, is what you do, and and your show, and how you do it.
Yeah, so I am a host at Impulso con Janet, which is a Spanish language podcast here at AMP2, just like yours. In fact, the set looks awful familiar.
I figured you'd figure that out, right?
It airs on Fridays at 11 a.m. and it's in Spanish. What we do is we feature Hispanic entrepreneurs and also creatives, people who are immigrants who have come here and they're building their own version of the American dream.
Beautiful. How did you get started in doing all this, Janet?
So, well, I met Dawn and Freddie at a networking event.
That helps, right?
Yeah.
Me too. So,
Did you really?
No, it wasn't networking, but I met them before I had any idea I was going to do a show.
Right. So I had no idea I was going to do a show. It never occurred to me to do anything like it. So my regular job and my regular career, I help business owners to develop true corporate credit under their EIN number.
Okay.
So that they can qualify for financing and run their business without using personal credit in their business. And that's what I was networking for when I met them, and we struck up conversation. I ended up a guest on the Brooklyn Cafe TV, and then before you know it, I don't even know how it happened. I turned around and I was the host on a show with
That's amazing.
with two other women. So it was Lucky and Liz and myself at first. It was called Impulso Latino, and then Liz dropped out, and then Lucky and I had the show for a while together, and we've branched apart, not because anything happened or we fought or anything like that, just to have more Spanish language programming and offer more variety. So she has her own show now, La Vida
Just to
Lucky.
classify, if someone wants to watch, you do have a few English, because I
just
know you had just said that.
Yeah,
so,
we just did our first English language podcast today. And that was because my guest was an amazing woman, also an immigrant, but she's from Trinidad, so she's not Hispanic and she doesn't speak Spanish. So we did it in English because it was very relevant to what we do. But we did it in English, and I think it turned out great. So if you want to watch one that you understand, today's would be the one.
Yeah, I was thinking of that because I'd love to watch your show sometimes.
Yeah,
and now at least I don't speak Spanish.
I know, maybe they can get captions or something.
Subtitles.
Yes, that would be a good
so
idea.
That would be cool. Yeah.
So that we can follow it, because I do want to learn Spanish, but I can basically read Spanish.
Oh, can you?
But I learned that in college. They had a thing where you don't speak it, you just read it. You
That's
learn to read
odd. It was a class where you just learn to read it but not speak it?
You just learn on the page what all the how to read it. And
Interesting. Yeah.
it was a very helpful class, because
I suppose,
there was no verbal anything. It was just all written. And so I can now basically pick up a Spanish newspaper and know basically
what it says. Well, I bet you if you started listening to Spanish, you'd pick it up because you already have a basis for it. So I bet you would have an easier time picking it up.
Where are you from, Janet?
So I was born here in the United States.
Okay, yeah.
My mom was born in Cuba.
Okay.
And my dad was born in Colombia.
The reason I asked because you don't have well, I don't know what a Spanish accent is, but you actually have no accent from what I hear.
When I was born in my parents' home, they only spoke Spanish, so I spoke Spanish before I spoke English.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Oh, that explains.
Even though I was born here,
Yeah.
and I went to school, I went to kindergarten, not a word of English.
Wow.
It would have been fun if they had taught me to, say I need to go
Hello?
to the bathroom.
Yeah.
That would have been
Hello.
fun, but no,
Yeah,
I didn't
right.
have a word.
Right.
And you're 5 years old, you learn quick. But
Yeah.
Yeah, because you absolutely speak, and obviously now I know why, perfect English, and I'm sure perfect Spanish, but I don't understand the Spanish.
But it's I'm always very happy that I speak Spanish because
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. So you mentioned what you did before, and you still combine that. You have
Yeah.
your show, and you still continue doing what you were doing.
Yeah,
correct?
exactly. So I still work with small business owners, and I'm obviously close to the Latino community because I am
Right.
Latina, right? So the reason I decided to take that slant with the show is because I love helping entrepreneurs. And, I do that on both sides of my business. So featuring them and their businesses, featuring the challenges that they go through, whether they be challenges because they're immigrants experiencing a new culture, a new way of doing business, or challenges that every business owner faces.
So you basically help entrepreneurs. So
Yeah, so
I
I'm
need
basically
your help.
I would love to help you.
Absolutely, because I am doing something. for
Yeah.
them. Right. So that's
I-
interesting.
I
We just
know
found
that,
that out.
That South Florida, I think, has one of the largest populations in the United States of Spanish-speaking people
True.
and also seniors.
True.
So, it's a...
True. And Palm Beach County, the Hispanic population is growing tremendously by leaps and bounds. And the services available here in Spanish are limited. Like Miami has a ton.
Yes.
Miami,
Fort
you almost
Miami,
have to speak Spanish. if you
Right,
go there.
I've been in
here many years. It's always been the same.
I've been in
Miami,
stores in Miami where there's a sign that says "We speak English."
yeah. Right. That's turning it around a little bit, right? But
Just a
yeah.
bit. But so I figured that doing a Spanish language show and bringing more Spanish into a community that obviously has a demand for it would be a great
Yeah,
thing.
because there hasn't been a lot of real Spanish-speaking television. Here in Miami there is.
In Miami
they
there
have
is, sure.
stations
Yeah.
there, but you come up this way and it's,
It gets a little less and a little less. but
Right,
yeah.
right, exactly.
When I first got here, honestly, from London, I thought I was in Spain or somewhere.
I
When I
bet.
imagined I was in Miami. It was beautiful, and I loved it.
Did you first
Just-
come to Miami?
I did.
You did,
Yeah. Well, I
okay.
didn't live there, but I was there when the plane landed, and I said, "Oh my
okay.
God, I think I'm in the wrong place."
I think I got off in the wrong
Yeah,
country.
yeah, but it's nice. I'm sorry that I didn't learn the language because
It's never
so
too
often
late.
it's-
well, it's never too
No,
late.
it's never too late. But I had the opportunity because my best friend was from Peru, but I never did. But never mind. We'll
Yeah.
maybe start now.
Now, are there...
What is hello? Is hola? Hola?
Hola.
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 So I started.
There, you just
Okay,
started.
I
Hola.
started.
Yeah, I know that. But there are, aren't there a lot of different Spanish dialects that you find here?
So we can communicate with each other from across all countries.
Can you?
However, we do have certain phrases and idioms that are different. So we might not understand the way, but we'll figure it out. It's pretty easy to
Well, you
figure
could
out.
do it. It's like different parts of the U.S. have different English.
Yeah, like you
know,
could
things.
speak to someone from Boston versus
Yeah.
someone from Louisiana.
Is it
They
slightly
might
different
have-
from New York? He used
And
to
they-
tell me that
yeah,
because
and
if he
they-
spoke Spanish, there was a name
Versus,
for that or something.
somebody from England.
Right.
And it's everybody
Right.
has a little different. Now, are there different? Would you say? See, I wouldn't know this. Would you say there are different accents or whatever you would call it? I don't know. We call them accents. I don't.
The accents are pretty
He
similar.
had a name for someone that was New York that was Spanish. I can't remember what he used to say. Like
Who's he?
My friend.
Oh, your friend.
Yeah, I don't remember what he used to call because he was also from Peru but lived in New York for many years.
Yeah.
I don't.
And now there
I
there
can't
is
imagine. I mean, I came
There
from New
was a
York
name.
too.
Yeah, so there was a name.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, they're definitely from New York," and I can't. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
It's
because New York people have an
with
accent.
the accent. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And there is another language, I guess, that it's kind of come that I've heard of called Spanglish.
Oh, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of.
So
Spanglish.
Thank
Spanglish is
you.
a combination
Yes,
of English
that's-
and Spanish.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said. Yes,
And
I thought it was.
Listen, we Latinos end up speaking Spanglish a lot.
That's
because-
what he meant.
Yeah. I mean, I can listen to people speaking Spanglish and I can understand about half of what they're saying.
Yeah, of course, the English
Yeah.
part.
You're way ahead of me, Jay. So if people want to, I watch Shark Tank every night because I love it. I'm very interested
I like
in
Shark
that.
Tank,
So how
too.
would I think they put your number across the screen if they want someone like yourself for their services to help them?
Yeah, so if you want to watch the show, you can catch it on either YouTube or Facebook on Impulso Latino TV. And the show is called Impulso con Janet. It airs every Friday at 11 a.m., but you could watch it anytime.
So basically, if someone is starting a new business, you'll help them with that and
Yeah,
what
I
they-
can help
what
them
they need?
with credit. I can help them with financing
Okay,
for the
okay,
business.
yeah.
And it's not just new businesses. It's pretty much at any stage because a lot of people have their personal credit very tied into their
Right,
business.
right.
And that's not really the greatest of ideas. You want to separate it out as much as possible. So I teach businesses to operate more like a Wall Street business than a Main Street business because they get the best perks. Yeah.
And do you put them like, because we had the lady on the other day that was a manager of a bank. So do
Right.
you actually do the financing or you
I
tell
do.
them where? Okay.
I have lots of sources for financing. Some of them are banks, some of them are non-bank.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I can place all kinds of loans for business. I just don't do personal loans.
Right.
Yeah.
Different.
Okay, so business loans.
And your show, you have different, just similar to what we're doing here. You are the host to a show.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I-
And she has
Right.
Right,
different,
my guests are different Hispanic entrepreneurs, basically.
Okay.
that
Yeah.
they have their own businesses.
Correct. So
And that you talk to them about their businesses.
Correct. And so today my guest was Stacy Luces, and she has a coaching business.
Uh-huh.
So she had a long corporate and government career. She worked for the Pentagon even.
Oh, really? Yes, you were mentioning that
Yeah,
on their
she-
earlier show. She sounded very
Yeah,
interesting.
she's a
right.
super interesting woman,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now she has her own coaching business, and she actually has a podcast too. So yeah, so that's what we did today, and that's why we did it in English because she's kind of a powerhouse, and
Right.
it's
Yeah,
Women's
I'm
History
definitely
Month.
going to tune into the show. And it's called?
Impulso,
Here is where I don't know the
IMPULSO,
Spanish.
IMPULSO, con Janet. As
You're
in
more
with
familiar.
Janet.
Con Jannet.
Yeah. Like arroz
Yeah.
con pollo, impulso con Janet.
I really have to look up my Spanish a little bit.
Yeah, no,
Since we do have
I
different
get
guests.
that much. It's,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you read it, so
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can read it. Just speaking it, I haven't really adapted too much to that, but I can understand it a little bit.
right.
You know, and,
So then the next step would be loosening your tongue a little.
but a lot of times, you know, in Spanish for me, when there's two Spanish-speaking people talking, I find out that they speak so fast that I can't
Yeah.
pick up the.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Spanish-speaking people, when they hear people speaking English, it's probably the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they feel
Apparently,
the
I
same way.
heard, many years ago, people that were speaking English but were from England, they're from another country, especially French people, they said it's so difficult to understand, to speak English, but then how would I know? Because
you speak
Yes.
English and you've always
But there
spoken
are
English.
certain words, it's getting away a little bit from what you do, but there are certain words that have two types of meaning. But surely
True.
that's the same in any or is it mainly in English?
So I think English is difficult because
Yeah,
it
that's what I
is
used to
the spelling and the way words come together
Yeah.
is very counterintuitive
Yeah, I've heard it's one of the hardest languages to
to
learn.
learn.
That's
Yeah.
Because,
interesting,
uh, You know, because there's so many, there's no rules.
Right.
I mean, everything is,
Right. And every rule has an exception.
yeah.
You know, like they have that I before E except after C, but
Right,
there's
Yeah.
plenty of
which
words.
we're used to like hearing that, but you
Yeah.
know when you start to think about it. So the guests on your show are all entrepreneurs.
Mostly, we've also had a bunch of musicians too, and they're kind of entrepreneurs in their
not so
own
different
right.
to our show here.
Yeah, we have
Right,
musicians.
right,
Yeah,
right.
or even artists, creatives, but
Uh-huh.
they're kind of entrepreneurs too because they're trying
Artists,
to.
sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
as our show too, because we call it Inside the Artist's Mind. But
Exactly.
an artist involves so many different types of
Yeah.
work or people
And that's
or
what,
talents.
you know, that's what,
Right.
we're expanding it, you know,
Yeah.
now, and it's going to
Yeah.
be more inside the creative mind.
That's exciting
Yes,
because
yes,
it really
I think
opens up
that's-
the
You know,
possibilities.
where we want to have people because creative really really comprises a lot of things that I think would be good. So we're
does.
probably going to be going over to that. So anyway, we're going to take a commercial, and we will be right back, and stay tuned.
A True Story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came into the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and a grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest into art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed a paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she is able to astral a project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life and direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today, authorhouse.com and amazon.com.
Receive the very best in home care. At Sunshine Home Care Services, our mission is simple yet profound: to support and enhance the lives of our clients. We genuinely enhance the quality of life and offer a comprehensive suite of 26 services tailored to meet every need. We go beyond the basics with health monitoring, emotional support, pet care, and home safety checks. Sunshine Home Care Services is more than just a service. It's a partnership in care. We invite you to experience the difference a compassionate team can make. For a personal consultation, call us today at 561-821-5811.
Welcome back to Inside the Artist's Mind with Jay Harmon and Sally Bernard. To be a part of the conversation, call 888-994-4995, Studio A. Now back to the show.
Hi, and welcome back. And we're so glad you joined us today. And we are here talking to Janet, who has her own show, and she does a Spanish show, and also she talks to business entrepreneurs in Spanish. And so that seems to be...
And she's going to start with English shows too. So
I'm going to start
good,
English shows too, all right.
Sally seems to be really excited about
I
that
am,
part.
because I can now watch your show. But I also have made up my mind I'm going to try and start to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll help you. We'll talk.
Great.
We'll speak Spanish.
I know the first word, hello, right?
How do you say it?
Hola.
Yeah,
There
you
we go.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I remember, I still remember when I moved to Florida from Michigan, I knew nothing about the Spanish language at all. Here, when you came down, I went to elementary school.
Oh.
And when you're in elementary school, it was a required thing that you have a half
really?
an hour of Spanish dialect. And so, that was a requirement in Florida. And this was back in the 60s. So,
wow.
So it's not something new. And because I still remember my first sentence that I ever learned.
Which was?
Hola Paco, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
How are you is the end, right? Yeah, because I've listened to Spanish on and off.
I mean, I probably screwed it up the way it's supposed to sound.
No,
but
it
I mean,
sounded
that was
okay to
No,
me,
it
but
sounded
then
pretty
I don't
good.
know.
I understood it. That's great.
Yeah,
and
and
that's
I
the first sentence you learned how to
First
say.
thing I learned, I never
And I
forgot
was
it.
correct with the
Yeah.
translation?
Yes.
Yes, there you go. Here we go. We're on our
See?
way.
You know more Spanish than you thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that too, that, I probably
it's a-
know more than I think I
You
do.
probably
yeah,
do.
well, I speak a little bit of French because we
Oh, do
used
you?
to learn it's French in school, so I can understand much more than I can speak. So, yeah.
I took French in high school as
Parlez-vous
well.
français?
Oui, je parle français un petit peu.
Yes, there we go. Oh, we have a mutual language here.
Well, we do have English.
Yes, we do. We have, thank goodness, because I'd be very quiet in this show, right? So how do the people come to you, or you advertise?
No,
or?
I find them. Well, I do a lot of networking
Right.
for
Yes, that
my
makes sense.
my other business, and well, people are always looking to highlight their businesses, right, and advertise what they do, and people like to be on TV.
This is true too. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I really don't have time. I really don't have a hard time finding guests.
Right.
It's pretty.
So when they
it's
come
pretty
to you,
easy.
you, as you had said, you're helping them out, but they already know that that's what you do. Because I've known you a little while, Janet, and I didn't know that you did this.
Yeah.
But then we've never really
talked
talking
about
today
this.
more than we have done in the past. Yes,
This is true.
Yes,
This
so
is
that's
true.
interesting too.
Yeah, I see you just about every Friday.
We
both
do.
of you.
Well, yeah,
but then
because-
you're speaking Spanish some of the time. But
This is
most
true.
of
Because
my reason for learning Spanish, right?
you know, because this is a very powerful medium, and for people to come on your show to advertise or talk about their business,
Yeah.
they get a lot of,
Right.
you know, a lot of people to see it.
Right. Absolutely.
And you know, it's the same with our show. We get, you know, people hear they're artists or musicians or whatever they want to, whatever they are. They come on our show, and you know, it's publicity.
It expands their reach.
I kind of
and-
called it your passion because you like to talk about your passion, and we found that I got that from my own show. I realized I need to be using the word passion, but it involves so much because it's your passion.
It
so you want to
is,
talk
yeah.
about your passion, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course, of
Yeah.
course. And creativity is
Exactly.
your passion,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Yeah. Art, creativity.
Yeah.
But it comes in so many different ways. Cooking, if someone is really interested.
Oh,
you know.
that's something else. You said you
Oh
love to
yes,
cook,
that's
right?
right. Ah, my psychic.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Cooking. Tell us
Yeah.
about your cooking.
I do love to cook. It's one of the things I do to relax, believe it or not. So
Yeah?
I usually cook dinner pretty much every night for my family, and that's my creative channel because I like to experiment with different flavors and different cuisines.
Oh, wow. They're very lucky to have you.
They feel that too.
Yeah, it's funny that I should mention cooking, right?
Yeah.
Yes, because you had mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So do you cook a particular, like a Spanish or
I do
Italian?
cook Spanish, but not very often.
No?
No, believe it or
Really?
not. So I cook a lot of other things. I'll do Italian. I've been really getting into the
Yeah.
Asian flavors, simply because I love Asian food, Chinese, Japanese.
Right.
And in New York, there was a lot more variety of authentic Asian food. Here, it's you go and there's Thai food, there's Chinese food, but it doesn't taste very authentic. So
Right.
I've been experimenting
Yeah,
with the
I-
Asian flavors.
I love that.
I know Asian food. You know, I used to think that I really liked it until I went to Thailand, and then I had their
Version.
Thai food.
Different,
Yeah.
right?
Whoa, you know, I
Very
mean, they
different.
really know how. But if you got to like it spicy though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, they really
Yeah.
know how to make it. So it's
And it's interesting because I was used to Chinese food in London, going to restaurants. When I first came here, I'm ordering dishes that are not on the menu from London
'cause
Chinese.
yeah,
so
and-
there's a difference.
And
yeah.
if you go to China, none of those dishes are on
they
the
wouldn't
menu
even
'cause
know
they're
what
not
we're
Chinese
talking
food.
about, right?
Yeah.
So it depends where you live, what the Chinese food is going to taste like, right? But,
Right.
do you make Chinese or?
I do make some Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and some of the things I have to order on Amazon because I can't get.
The
Yeah.
actual
The
ingredients.
different ingredients.
Yeah,
well, I
that's
had
Here-
Chinese when I was in Hong Kong, and you know, they got the whole very well made. The only thing that was missing was the fortune cookies. I said, "Where's the fortune cookies?" I said,
What?
I got to wonder what you were talking
"That's
about.
an American thing." I
Yeah.
found
Yeah.
out.
Well, so
We
many
have
like,
that in
like
England.
General Tso's chicken, so
Yeah.
popular here. That's not a
That's
a
not.
Chinese dish. Chop suey is another one. That's not a Chinese.
It's not a
dish.
Chinese dish. So if we
No.
went to China, they would have. It's similar to the conversation that we
Yeah.
had when they were on the road to the cafe last week.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, that's interesting. So they would look at you like,
What
"What's
is that?"
chopped?" Well, the difference that when I realized there was a difference, like egg drop soup, I used to love that in England, but it's different here. It's just a
Oh, it
soup.
tastes different.
Well, they first of all they put corn in it, then they put an egg, but I think it's after it's cooked, so it's like a little scrambled on the top. And I love that. So when I come here and they're giving me egg drop soup, I'm going, but this isn't. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, that's how they serve it here. So there's a difference.
There
it
is
might
a
only
difference. So
be a little, but.
how do you like do you like the Chinese food in London better?
Well, I
or-
got used to it because I've
You
been
got
here a
used to
long
it,
time
yeah.
now. So if I went to London, I'd probably think it was too different or something. Yes, but there is definitely a difference. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Chinese is Chinese, but it's really
It-
different.
yeah, it's
But
funny
there's
because
different. You know, it's like Spanish food. There's Spanish food, and then there's you know.
Right,
it,
and each of us from the different countries make things different
yeah.
ways.
I mean, you know,
So-
some people think that, you know, Spanish food is Taco Bell.
I'm sorry if that's you.
But that's, you know, not...
What about, do you have Indian, a lot of Indian restaurants in England, a tremendous
there?
amount, especially
Yeah.
in London. It's like
Are
on
there?
every street corner.
There's more here now than
But
there
it's
used to be.
different.
That's a cuisine
Indian
I
here.
never-
It's very spicy. and
I'm not
hot.
too familiar with it.
Yeah,
I never
am.
appreciated it
Yeah.
much.
And I got really used to it. I loved curry. I actually
Yeah,
one of the
so you have to-
dishes that
yeah,
I'm
curry
going to
is the
make
main-
curry, and I'm saying this in front of everybody for the cafe one day here because I make a good curry.
Oh.
It's
You
about
make a
the
good
only
curry?
thing I make a
Nice.
good curry.
I've never had a curry that I really loved.
You'll
so,
love my
Well,
curry.
bring in some of your curry
Oh,
and
you
I'll
better
try it.
say you love it.
I'll lie. No, I'll tell you.
No, I'll bring it to the connoisseur here. I'll make a curry.
The
and
curry
ask her.
that I love is Thai. They
Hi,
Oh, yeah,
do
I
it-
love that.
And it's,
It's
usually
different.
green,
Yes,
right?
they have a
Or
green one. They
coconut
have
milk,
they have
I think
a
they
red
get,
one. They
yeah.
use
Red
a
and
lot
green,
of
yeah.
coconut
I love
milk.
that, yeah.
So I've been experimenting with that stuff.
My
and
curry is
cooking with
different.
a lot of-
It's very, I put
Yeah, 'cause
apples,
yours
I put
is more
raisins,
Indian,
and I
right?
put a lot of different. It's yeah, which I learned in London, but there's a lot of English people, Indian people in London.
London,
so
of
they
course.
open in
Oh, are there?
London.
Well-
Yeah.
A lot, yes. So
Yeah.
it's
well,
good.
please, when you make your curry, invite me because I'm not always here.
Well, I'll bring it to the cafe. We'll
Yeah.
all have it. I'll
Awesome.
make a
I'd
big
love
pot
to
of
try
curry.
that because, you know, like I
I'll make
said,
it
I'd
on
like
a
to try
Friday.
something
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
great.
and, you know, see if I
Yeah,
really
Friday
like
you're
it.
here
Yeah.
too. So here,
Yeah.
an open invitation
And,
to my curry.
Uh,
But that's interesting that you do a lot of cooking like that. I don't.
You don't like to cook?
Well, Steve is a good cook, and
Okay.
we've seen he's only home 5 days and gone 5 days, so we eat out a lot. So, but it's interesting. You cook like nearly every night,
Nearly every night, yeah.
and different.
Wow.
Wow!
Yeah.
I might come to your house.
Yep.
We go out
You're
for
welcome.
dinner. No, I'm just joking.
yeah, bring some curry.
And bring some curry.
I'll bring it to the cafe.
Do you cook, Jay?
No.
No?
And I live alone, but you know, I'm used to what I like, and you know, I don't do anything really fancy. I
Right.
mean, I make a great salad, you know, and I have that quite often, and when I want something different, I guess I don't know, I'll mix things up. I'll make a salad and then go out and get some chili. And
okay.
Oh, that's
have some
interesting.
chili with
yeah.
the, and just you can be really creative
Of course.
if you want to without really spending a lot of money. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, without going crazy on food. You know,
Yeah,
especially
for
if you're
sure.
by yourself. I don't like to go out to a restaurant by myself. I'm not crazy about that. You know, it just.
Yeah,
not
I
a-
don't love that either.
Do you have a particular type of food that you like really specialize in and like cooking?
Oh, I get into, like right now I'm having my Asian phase. But,
Oh,
but
okay.
I've done French. I've
Right,
gone through
yeah.
my French phase,
That's
my
really neat,
Italian
yeah,
phase.
yeah.
I always cook Latin every once in a while. So
French-
so either Cuban or
Yeah.
Colombian.
I think about the only French food that I know
like
is
Cuban food.
French fries and French dressing. I think
No,
that's
I'm,
what-
I'm talking like beef bourguignon and
Yeah.
coq au vin and
Oh, beautiful! Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. Well, I lived in St. Martin for a couple of years, so I got very used to the, I guess, island food, which I love. Yeah.
island
So,
food is
yes,
really
I
good
do,
too.
I do,
Yeah, that
So,
I don't cook.
Black beans and rice.
That I
No,
cook a lot,
yeah,
but
what-
Cubans and
That-
Colombians.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now
yeah.
that's always kind of a
I was
standard
having
with
that nearly every day, so I
Were
do
you
remember
really?
that. Yeah.
Black beans and rice,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good. I mean, with almost anything. Usually
Yeah.
with chicken, I have it, and
It's very yummy.
you know. Oh, another thing I really love
like
is
banana.
when I go out to get is a really well-made Cuban sandwich.
I
Aha.
had that a little while ago. I love
Oh,
that. It's
if they're
gotta be
made
very
correctly, Miami
yeah.
makes them the
Perfectly.
best. And you know, but you got to go to Miami to do. But
No, you don't. You could go to.
I think that
You could
know,
go to
I've,
Lake
but
Worth,
I've-
my
I've had
kitchen.
those.
I think we're wrapping up the show, and let's end it on what you have to say about your show that you have and also your entrepreneurship.
Yeah, sure. So, again, if anyone out there needs help with their business credit or a business loan, please contact me. I can be reached at Janet, Janet, at assurancebusinessconcepts.com. And if you'd like to be a guest on my show, Impulso con Janet, you can also reach me at janet.impulsolatino@gmail.com.
Okay, well, thank you, Janet,
Thank you, Janet.
and thank you, Sally, and Thank you for watching our show today, and we hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Be good.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Inside the Artist's Mind. We hope you enjoyed the show. Tune in next week as we explore more about the artist's passions and inspirations.